Hey guys, this is Eric Groundwood from Nerdy Geek Talk, source for all your nerdy geeky needs. Here with episode 2 of Journey to Toy Design. And this is about where to apply. So, if you've decided that toy design is something that you want to do, that it's something that you're certainly interested in, now you need to look at where do I go to school for that? Like, what the heck? How do you learn to become a toy designer? So, this is going to be the list essentially of all the different places you can consider. This is not the only places you can consider, but it's certainly a very, very important list to look at if you are certain that you want to go into toy design. Now, just to start it off, I will give you the three that John Warden, the current head of design on the Transformers brand, gave me. So those three are Otis College of Art and Design, which is in Los Angeles, California. It was founded in 1918, and we'll get down to the other stats later. Just really quick, not important stuff. Well, important stuff, not long. FIT, which is Fashion Institute of Technology, which is in New York City, and that is well, and Otis is a private college. FIT is actually public. Um, the state is founded in 1944, and interestingly, its tuition is way, way lower than Otis. Otis is very high, but we'll get to that later. And the last one John Warren gave me is Purdue University, and that is in West Lafayette, Indiana. It was founded in 1869. Wow. And that is where I'm currently at school. If you did not know that, I think I might have mentioned that in the last episode. I've mentioned it a couple times on a few different shows. Anyways, but yes, I am at Purdue University. That is the conclusion I came to, but there are certainly other options as I just put out. Now, those are the three that John Warren gave me. Here's two more for two different reasons. One, Ohio State. I don't love Ohio State, but I applied there, and that was certainly on my list because John Warden, as I just said, who gave me the list of those three schools, that's where he went to for his degree. Now, he didn't go into specifically toy design, he went into industrial design, which there is a difference, kind of. Rochester Institute of Technology is the other one, and that was the other school on my list. Basically, don't think I'm leaving off any that I applied to well, these are the ones I at least seriously considered. And the reason why is they have a really, really good industrial design program, but again, that's not necessarily, it depends on the route you want to go for toy design. But just really quick, when you're looking at these colleges, so I will explain the differences in toy design really quick, but uh, just super, super fast, I'm going to go over the tuition and acceptance rate just because that is super important. Again, super, super quick. So Otis is $40,490 a year, and their acceptance rate is 66.479%. So that's not bad. FIT, their tuition is $7,200. I'm pretty sure that their housing is a lot more because you're in New York City, though. And their acceptance rate is 44%. Purdue University, their tuition is $10,002, and their acceptance rate is 59%. Ohio State, his tuition is $10,037 with a acceptance rate of 49%, and RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, has 38,568 listed as their tuition with a 57% acceptance rate. Now, the important things you need to consider is what's your degree? Now, not all of these colleges are going to have the same degree when you're applying. And we'll go over the benefits to each of those in the next episode. But right now, we're just talking about applying necessarily, getting into schools. So you need to know what you're applying for because it is not the same at all these schools. Otis, it is toy design. You are straight up applying to be in a toy design program. It is a 4-year bachelor, and when you apply, you make it clear that you are going into when you apply, technically you are undecided. Once you are in, you go for toy design. But you can make it clear at the beginning that you are going into toy design. You just don't get to officially declare that till later. I think a year in. But either way, once you make it into the college, you're pretty much guaranteed. It's not how it works almost anywhere else. FIT. Fashion Institute of Technology. That is the only other college in the world, other than Otis, that has a degree for toy design. Now, the thing is, when you apply, You do not apply directly for toy design. And it's not like Otis where you get to declare it later. You apply for a 2-year associate's degree in some other type of design. Then you apply again to do a 2-year program for toy design. Then you have your toy design degree. Now the thing is, none of the others are like product design. There's like interior design, other things like that. None of them were too appealing to me. That's kind of why FIT I wasn't super interested in them later. Because you have to get a 2-year degree in something that isn't really super related to it. It's still design, but it's very, very different kinds of design. It's not like product design or industrial design where you're designing still products, just maybe not the exact toys you want to. No, it's pretty darn different. But it's still an option because once you get past those 2 years, you have 2 years of toy design and you have a toy design degree. Now, those are the only two that have toy design, and as I explained, it's not as straightforward as you might think. Now, the rest of these schools, you are applying for industrial design. What industrial design is essentially product design is another name for it, where you are designing products in general. It doesn't have to be just toys. It can be containers, it can be parts for a car. It's lots of things. It's very, very widespread. And so a lot of people say getting that degree is better because it puts you in a safe spot. You can design lots of different things, not just toys. But again, we'll go over to that in the next episode. We're just talking about what you're applying for and where right now. So these colleges are all industrial design 4-year programs. Purdue is the first one on the list. And this one you'll apply. And the important thing to note about Purdue that I forgot to mention for the last two, Purdue is the only college you will not submit a portfolio for. Now, how important that portfolio is in the application process is debatable, but you will have to send a portfolio with a decent amount of artwork that you have made yourself to all the other colleges. Otis, FIT, Ohio State, and RIT. Every single one of them will need a portfolio from you. If you're like me and you went through high school not going through a lot of art classes, I was mainly in music classes for my art requirements, you're not going to have a lot of artwork sitting around, so that might be tight to get it all together. Now, luckily, I had a gifted program teacher that she was an art teacher, which is very convenient for me. So she helped me put together, she had me come in during certain classes and stuff, and I worked on art, and I put together a portfolio. Ironically, I ended up going to the one school I did not need that portfolio for, but nonetheless, I still had to do that work because I didn't know where I was going. And neither will you right away if that's what you are going into. But the thing is, like I said, if you are not currently in art classes, be aware that the all other colleges, you're going to need that portfolio, which it's not impossible to do. And again, as I said, it's debatable how important it is. A lot of colleges are kind of lenient on the portfolio, on, how much of the requirements you meet, stuff like that. So Purdue is a 4-year industrial design program, and I think that's the other thing worth mentioning. Oh, but just be aware, Purdue sophomore review. Basically, when you get to your sophomore year, all the work you've done, which you will start in drawing and design classes your very first semester, and will continue to have more and more of those as you go on. I am in mostly I'm only in one class that is not in the arts right now. And it's only going to get more classes in the arts as I go on. So the thing is, you're going to have a review after sophomore year where they narrow down your class, people who are also in industrial design, and they basically pick the top 20. It's a little less, actually. It depends on the size of the class. They pick the top 20, and for reference, it changes every year. Sometimes there's only 19 people, so everyone gets in. A lot of times there's around 50 to 60. So it depends how hard you work. But around sophomore year, they're going to look at all the work you've done, people that have not had you, people that have not taught you, and they will pick the top 20. Those 20 move on. If you do not make that, you can have another year to essentially redo your sophomore year and try again, in which case most people do pass the second time and they can continue on for their final 2 years of their degree, or you could switch majors. So Ohio State is a bit different. They don't have a sophomore review. They have a 4-year industrial design program. As I mentioned, you apply, you have a portfolio. But they narrow down their industrial design students the same way Purdue does, except they don't wait till sophomore year. They do it essentially at the very beginning of freshman year, which is what made me completely turned off to that school. But just be aware of the fact that you have to go in through these weird tests and stuff like that, and they immediately they accept you to the program. Like, I was accepted to industrial design, but I would have had to gone through more tests and stuff like that that wasn't even related to really my design work. So I wasn't a huge fan of that, but we'll get to the pros and cons of them next episode. And then last but not least, RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. You will have to submit I believe their portfolio may have been the longest out of everyone's. I cannot remember for sure, but they certainly have a portfolio and an essay and all that. And it is a 4-year industrial design program. I believe that once you get accepted to RIT, I can't remember if you're in totally for sure or not. I don't remember a review being mentioned, but it's very possible that they have a sophomore review or something like that, or it might even be like a junior. I don't remember. But either way, it's another 4-year industrial design program. Nothing to mention for all these colleges whenever you're applying, and this is for a college in general, but I'll keep it short, is that your essay is very, very important, especially if you want to go into toy design. I use that to my advantage. If you're going into toy design, chances are you're very, very passionate about it. Most people do not want to go into toy design just because they think they like it. You go into it because you love it. You know you want to do that. Make that clear in your college essay. It doesn't matter how good of an essay you write, you need to make it stand out. Whether it's, so basically, if they could have their choice between a perfectly written essay, but it doesn't have anything special, like you don't stand out from anyone, versus you stand out like crazy, but your essay itself isn't very good, they're going to like that option much, much better. My essay is what I believe had a decent amount of influence on the success of my applications. I got accepted to all 5 of these places, but I didn't end up going to all of them, obviously, because that'd be ridiculous. But I believe my essay had a huge impact on that, especially because Purdue, it caught the attention of the dean, and I was awarded extra money and told that I would get put into contact with one of the former designers of Transformers that went to Purdue. So that's pretty neat, and that's all because of my college essay. I made it stand out. I made it clear that I am very, very passionate about this, and that that's all I care about. I don't care about the rest of the college stuff. I don't care about the rest of trying to stand out like I'm a good student and all that, which I was, but that's not what they care about. They care about it somewhat, but that's not the main thing that attracts them. What attracts them is the passion that stands out from anyone else. So make it very clear, because if you're going into toy design, as I said, it's very, very likely you're extremely passionate, and you probably know that. So you need to make them aware of that. Other than that, for applying, basically, just remember it's important to get all your applications in on time, stuff like that, to look good. Because in general, for the rest of your life, you're going to be an adult. You got to start, doing stuff on time, being responsible. Um, I don't think there's really much else to mention. So there's the top 5 schools. And as I said, anyone that has an industrial design program, which a lot of places do, definitely consider them as an option, but also consider the fact that John Warden, the head designer of Transformers, said Otis, FIT, Purdue. So whether or not you end up going to those schools, I would heavily recommend that you put those on your list if you're considering toy design. Um, and as I mentioned, next episode we will be going over the pros and cons of each of those schools and how you reach your decision on which one you want to go to once you've already applied to them, as I mentioned, as I've gone over in this with, what you're applying to, what you're going to have to do for the applications, stuff like that. So that's about it for this episode. Thank you very much. Feel free to check me out on Twitter at Eric Crowbar. Watch out other podcasts, all that. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you very much. Have a good one.